All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today's expert to talk about Indian team's selection is Gokul Vijay with us. Unfortunately, he won't be able to do video, but that's all right. We can just listen to his soothing voice. Welcome, Gokul. This has been a trigger topic for almost every Indian fan who knows the history of the Indian team in the knockout tournaments as well as in the bilateral series in the T20 format. So let's dive into the topic of the World Cup squad selection. I know you have a lot of opinions. Firstly, I've seen a lot of creators, give their opinion, and I was just very surprised because a lot of them were saying that this is the true change because Gill was left out, so not all have been selected based on their names or stature, but they have if you look at Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya, I mean it's not like a lot. There's been a lot of changes, but somehow there's one side to it saying that it's a great squad, and the other is of course saying that it's not a great squad because we wanted some of the other names to feature in it. So I would just like to know your initial reaction from where the when the squad was announced, and also what you have been hearing about the review of it or others' opinion. So what was your first reaction to everything?
Yeah, I mean, it was mixed emotions because they selected Sanju Samson, which was a really good thing, and there were always doubts on whether Samson is going to be selected in the Indian team or not. In spite of his good performances, because that's what has been happened in the past 1 or 2 years. He has obviously performed well, but still hasn't got the right amount of chances uh, during the main games. So the inclusion of Sanju Samson in the squad was a very good thing to see, and also they left out KL Rahul. That is also they had which was very good actually. KL Rahul looked pretty much fine and comfortable in this IPL season in the power play, that he wasn't trying his conservative approach. He was actually intentionally trying to strike at a better having a better strike rate. So, and Jaiswal, on the other hand, was actually struggling. He hasn't had a very good IPL season so far, just that one innings against Mumbai Indians, I guess. Other than that, he hasn't had a very good IPL in the season. And in spite of that, they have still gone for Jaiswal, knowing that he has that intent naturally to go after the bowlers right from the ball one. So that was once again good thing to see, to the exclusion of KL Rahul and the inclusion of Jaiswal in spite of what had happened in this IPL season. So that made a lot of sense. But then why mixed emotions is that there were certain decisions which you just couldn't understand at all. If you put yourself in a selector's seat and everything, the thing about what happened with Rinku Singh, and there can be 2 or 3 fast bowlers who could have been replaced. I don't see Ashdeep or Siraj bowling any well in this season, and at least Ashdeep's selection can be justified because he has played for India in main in T20I games and also play the last World Cup. So it's fine even if he's out of form. You can still pick him in the squad based on experience and reputation. But Siraj, I mean, why? So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
talk
so
about it in detail later. So
yeah,
these are all the
yeah,
things,
yeah.
and hence the
I'll
mixed
come.
emotions.
I'll come to that. My first question to you is there any justification for Rohit Sharma to be in the squad? You can say no.
No, I mean, ideally he shouldn't be in the squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ideally he shouldn't be in the squad, and I also he's the captain, and I think him being the captain played a major role in his inclusion in the team. Yes, some may argue that he played well against CSK. That's in match needed at that moment. After getting a very good start, he's still in that 13 to 17 overs. In the gap of those 4 overs, only 13 runs were scored, and he was trying to hit too hard, which was very unlike Rohit Sharma, and that tells you that um, how much Rohit Sharma is low on confidence about his own hitting. I mean, I would say. So that is one thing, and yeah, I mean, the only reason I can point out on why Rohit Sharma is selected, and I think it's fair to some extent, is that his approach in the last 50 over World Cup has been amazing, was amazing, and he led the team so well. The team environment was very good. All these things might have played a role, and these are the only things that could have played a role, to be honest, because performance wise, there has been nothing from Rohit for someone to back up. Okay, this is why Rohit Sharma is in the squad. He is there because he is the captain and has led the team well. And probably we haven't played any matches recently with Hardik Pandya at the helm of the Indian team in the shortest format. So just putting Hardik Pandya in the captaincy role after whatever happened to Hardik in this IPL season and everything, maybe to some extent I can say okay, fine. It's not like we have lost the world. It's not the end of the world. Rohit Sharma has led well, so I better hope rather than criticizing too much on Rohit Sharma selection. I would rather hope that Rohit Sharma comes good as a batter and leads the team in a very good way as he did at the T20 World Cup. So yeah, ideally the answer is no. He shouldn't have been in the squad, but then it's fine. It's justifiable to an extent that he's in the squad and why he is in the squad.
So, a lot of times, for example, in CSK, we see that MS Dhoni doesn't really contribute in terms of runs, but obviously because he was the captain, he contributes in that way. Do you see that Rohit Sharma's inclusion could be because of that? Because like they wanted a captain who has all this experience. Perhaps this is his last World Cup now, at least T20 World Cup, and we would probably expect him to say that after the World Cup ends. But Rohit, as a captain, do you think there's any advantage to that for the Indian team?
No, you can't really compare Dhoni and Rohit. Actually, in my opinion, Dhoni is far better captain than anyone in the Indian circuit in the shortest format, particularly. So that is one thing. And Dhoni is fine with CSK is fine with Dhoni as a captain and him not doing much because his batting position is such that he bats at probably seven and at times even at eight, and then very rarely if there are only one or two overs left at six. So his job is to come and slog in the last 2 or 3 overs, which he has been doing very well, irrespective of whether he is retired or not, irrespective of his age and fitness and whatever concerns he has with his knee. He still is doing the job for the team. The problem with Rohit is that he is the opener and he is not going to play at anywhere else. So he has to score. There is no way that you can say, okay, I'm here just as a captain. Especially in the T20 format, we all know how important it is for the openers to utilize the power play to the fullest extent. And we also know how we lost the semifinals against England in the last T20 World Cup semis. We literally scored what 30 odd runs in the first 6 overs. Rohit Sharma didn't even score run a ball, I guess, in that innings. So all these things are there. So it won't be justifiable at all if we can compare what is happening with CSK and what's happening with the Indian team. Because Dhoni, irrespective of the position he bats, he's still doing the job for his team. So that is one of the most important things. Rohit Sharma has to do the job for his team as a batter too, and he should come good. He has been looking good in patches in this season, but he can be much better, and he should be much better in the T20 World Cup. So yeah, we can't compare those things. And um, Rohit also doesn't bring as much as MS Dhoni brings to the table as a leader. Yeah.
So, before we talk about Rinku Singh, I will just talk very briefly about how you were upset that Jay Shah came in and said that how it is very good for the Indian team that Rishabh Pant is back, and you exactly knew
Yeah.
that perhaps if Rishabh Pant will make it to the squad, and he did, and yes, he had that 88 runs innings, but other than that, I don't think there's much difference to his in T20 style and how he's structuring the innings or whatever. As a keeper, yeah, I think that he's doing quite well. But as a batter who might come in and, we expect a lower order batter to finish the games or be very explosive, have that
Mm.
180, 200 strike rate at least, because, whatever we are seeing in the IPL is obviously going to be a bit different in the World Cup.
Mm.
But obviously, we want someone who will go for that 180, 190 strike rate perhaps. But then Rishabh Pant is not
Mm.
that player. So why is Rishabh Pant selected, and why is it wrong to select him for you?
Yeah, I mean that was I would still call it a very foolish statement from person at that position, Jaisha, saying that Rishabh Pant's availability is so good for the Indian team without even him playing the match. So that was ridiculous. And the selection is kind of, I'm not going to criticize it to a larger extent because they have selected Sanju Samson, who has been absolutely at his best. The thing is that other keepers who have been in contention, they haven't performed to
Yeah.
any extent. They haven't really performed in a way where one can point out to their performance and say Rishabh Pant shouldn't have been selected. So Rishabh Pant, apart from that 88, Rishabh Pant scored some two 50s and a 40, I guess, in the matches that he played. And yeah, I mean even though that is not ideal for what we are looking in the shortest format, that's still better than whatever his competitors have done in this season so far. A lot of hopes were on Jitesh Sharma, how he can really stamp his authority that he's one of the confirmed players in the T20 squad, but then he just flopped. And kind of was very disappointing to see Jitesh Sharma perform that way. He started at number 4 or 5 for Punjab, and now Shashank Singh is batting ahead of him. Ashutosh Sharma is batting ahead of him. And he didn't really utilize the opportunities that he got. Although for the Indian team, he did make an impact with his strike rate and sitting abilities. But you should still perform well in this IPL, and then you have another player who has a very big reputation, where the selectors are very very confident on his reputation. So when you're competing with that sort of a player, you have to bring out your best, and if you can't, then yeah, you will have to face the axe. So that's fine. What I won't be fine is that Indian team starting with Pant in the 11th rather than Samson, and I think there are high amount of chances for that happening. The Indian team starting with Pant, and that would be one of the worst decisions that can be made. Yes, he made that 88 runs. He scored 60 odd runs against Mohit Sharma alone. But if you look at the next match, so he scored this fabulous 88 run now, probably his best in the last 4 or 5 years in the T20 format. He scored this runs, and you see him play the next match. He just looks like a player who's completely out of form. How can you trust this player? So it is by luck he scored 88 runs, and I can say it with utmost confidence. It's not as if you cannot really bank on Punt as much as you bank on him in the test format, because he's consistent there. Although we are at a evolving stage where the consistency doesn't really matter and the impact matters in the T20 format, it still should matter to some extent. So Rishabh Pant scoring those 88 runs just targeting one bowler. I know that in international you aren't going to get that one weak bowler where you get in the IPL, 1 or 2 weak bowlers in an IPL match you're going to face, but that's not going to happen in the international circuit when you're playing the World Cup. I'm very, very sure that Rishabh Pant is really struggling even now, in spite of scoring those 88. And my only proof would be just look at his innings that he played after the knock. He scored after his 88 run knock. That if that can't tell you why he shouldn't be in the starting 11, then nothing else. So yeah, he shouldn't start in the 11, and I can be so very vocal about it. And Samson should start in the 11. And for that, again, the whole team combination changes. If Samson plays, the team combination is different, and if Punt plays, the team combination has to be different. But there is also a way where both Punt and Samson can be in the 11. So yeah, all these combinations and everything, I hope they sort out. But if they badly want to include Punt, fine. But please include Samson and play him at 3, because he's the best that you have got, and just open with Rohit and Virat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when you watch Rishabh Pant, it just looks like he's not finding the timing yet. Or when you see an international player, you kind of feel as though they're mature enough to structure their innings in a way that even though hitting sixes is hard, perhaps boundaries, rotating the strikes is something that they will look for. But I think it was against I can't remember the team, but I think when he scored 27 of 20 and the pitch was quite slow, but you kind of expect from I think it was against KKR in Kolkata.
KKR, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you kind of expect that after losing so many wickets, a international player or someone of his reputation might do something different than just swing the bat and try to hit sixes or boundaries. But then, I mean,
Mm,
it's his style of play. He plays that way, and that's unfortunately not working in the T20 format, I think. And that's why I
mm.
feel that, but again, the second point is that there's no clear cut better option who perhaps also Rishabh Pant being a left-handed player also played in his hands as well as even as a second wicket keeper. If you have an opportunity to play a left-hander somewhere in a game, you might perhaps want him to play. And of course,
No,
he
but
as a
but
wicket
that
keeper.
can't be.
Yeah,
But that can't be a.
along with being the best there is right now, in terms of,
Yeah, but the
as you
thing is
said.
that in the last World Cup, there weren't any left-handers in the 11,
Mm.
except Rishabh Pant. So there were a lot of talks about having a left-hander in the batting line. But this time we have Shivam Dubey, we have Jaiswal, if at all he plays in the 11 and opens. We have Jaiswal right away at the top, and then Shivam Dubey if he plays. And if not, there are Akshar and Jadeja. So we have a lot of options right now. But we didn't have that option in the World Cup. So Pant being the left-hander shouldn't be really be that much of an advantage for him this time around. it's just ridiculous actually. I think even if Jitesh Sharma had performed, they would have probably included Jitesh Sharma and Rishabh Pant and would have left out Samson, because that's what the statement of Jay Shah indicated, as if one spot is almost fixed on Pant, and it's all about the other spot for the rest of the keepers in the Indians. So that was really ridiculous, and I really hope that Samson starts in the 11 ahead of Rishabh Pant, because I mean, if these performances in this season can't tell anything to these selectors, then it's just very clear that they shouldn't be in that position, to say that, or to be in a position of deciding that who should be in the 11, or and now who shouldn't be. So yeah.
Now coming to Rinku Singh. Firstly, I was very, very surprised because I felt that whatever chances he got for the Indian team, he really smashed it. Strike rate was up. He was playing very confidently, and I just feel that if you have someone like Rinku Singh, yes, he hasn't played that much in this IPL, and that's the fault of KKR. But all right, whatever their strategy was, they were. I mean, obviously, a franchise wouldn't change their strategy for a player to get in the squad. But regardless of that, given his past experience and how freely our top order batters can play, if they know that there's someone like Rinku Singh down the order who can either also bat for a long time, it's not like he's just a finisher, he's a proper batter, and kind of have a strike rate of 180, 90, or even go beyond that. And I really like Sanju Samson for this as well, because even if Samson doesn't score that much, his strike rate is always up. He somehow finds to make those runs where he's not going 100 or 120. It's always something more than that. It's similar with Rinku Singh, unless the situation is completely changed and you have lost a lot of wickets early on. So I really wanted him to be that. Plus, my point was that in the last 2 years, whenever he has been in the squad, he has played that role of a finisher, which we wanted Dinesh Karthik to play last to last World Cup, but obviously he failed to do that, and we wanted someone who can, really be in that position. But then he was not there. He's obviously in reserve, so there are chances that he might get selected. But do you think he has a space for it? Who would be left out, and why do you think Rinku Singh wasn't there? What is your reaction to all of this?
No, I mean, yeah, certainly it's very disappointing to not have him in the squad. But then, if you look at the combinations with which the team has been selected, the squad has been just selected. There are just three seamers overall in the whole 15, and there are four spinners. So, which means that there are high chances of the team going in with two paces, probably Bumrah and Arshdeep,
Yeah.
and with three spinners. That is, they might play both Akshar and Jadeja, and along with Kuldeep. So if at all anything happens, if at all they feel the combination needs to be changed, then they might play Chahal. So I think there are a lot of opportunities, that chances that they'll play with these spinners. So they had to select four spinners in the squad, and then they had to select three paces. That's a bare minimum for paces in the squad. So they had to do this. And another thing is that what happened unexpectedly is that Shivam Dube's performance in this IPL season. So that was unexpected from anyone. No one really had Shivam Dube on the cards. It was really, really unexpected that, yeah, Shivam Dube looked good in CSK even in the previous seasons, but this much consistency at this high strike rate was not really expected from Shivan Dube. And that performance really forced selectors to not ignore him. You just couldn't ignore him, because the performances have been such, and the performances has not just been in numbers, but also in terms of impact. He has literally carried CSK's run rate in the middle overs. And yeah, and again, it's in the middle overs. So that's one of the very valuable points, something which we have really struggled to find a batsman of such. So Shivan Dube's inclusion was a very, I mean, Shivan Dube's performance was a big surprise, and he had to be included. And there is no other way where you can include Shivam Dube other than the spot of Rinku Singh if you look into the squad. You literally can't remove anyone else. Probably you can only could have removed another spinner from the squad and could have included Rinku Singh. But then from how the squad has been selected, I feel that they are going with three spinners in the 11. And if they're going with three spinners, then obviously there needs to be a backup spinner in the squad. So based on all these things, Rinku has been explored. Yes, obviously it's disappointing. Probably there was a chance that they could have included Rinku Singh instead of Jaiswal also, but then that wouldn't have been fair. You need a backup opener also. Um, and probably who knows? Jaiswal is already in the starting 11. He may start with Rohit. and open the innings. So it's just that there wasn't a spot for Rinku Singh and the finisher and everything. But if Akshar and Jadeja both play in the 11, then there is no need for a finisher. We bat deep and almost every batter can play aggressively, and we no, need not really look into the role of a finisher specifically. And also there is Hardik Pandya as well. So all these things combined, there wasn't a spot for Rinku Singh. So can't really blame selectors for this because Shivam Dube's performance has been such. You just gotta feel sad for Rinku Singh. Obviously, he deserved to be in the squad, but that's how sport is. Sometimes you perform well, but the other person comes up and performs better than you. It's not about who performed less, but somehow Shivam Dube has managed to get into the peak at the right time. So that's the thing. And yeah, I would like to criticize the selection committee, but then no, yeah, it was a tough call, but then they had to make if they had to really produce a balanced squad.
Yeah, I think a lot of these selections have been done by seeing who will play in the first 11. So we can
Yeah.
criticize it for their individual choices, perhaps, but I think in the last couple of years, we haven't really seen this approach, right? We have seen like, okay, take the best players and then sort of
Mm.
form the combination. But perhaps maybe in this time, they have done it in a different way, where they have sort of first looked at the combination and what the team will look like on obviously pitches in West Indies and USA. Would mostly be a batting pitch and very small grounds, but West Indies could be a bit different where spinners will come in. So that would also be maybe a good choice because on batting pitches you want more batters and even maybe Shivam Dube can bowl as well, and on spinning tracks you have an option of going for, like you said, three spinners as well. Uh, Now coming to the bowling aspect itself, firstly, do you see Shivam Dube also bowling for India? I mean, do you think that he will be in the first team and also bowl, or would he be someone who might come in place of Hardik Pandya?
No. I don't think Shivam Dube is ever going to be a replacement for Hardik Pandya. Not at all. And I don't want Shivam to be bowling as well. Yeah, even in the last match against Punjab, CSK gave the ball to Shivam Dube. He literally took a wicket in the very second delivery or something. But then
Yeah.
he was smashed for runs right after that. So I don't want him bowling at all for the Indian team. Even in the last time when he has bowled, I think it was Ross Taylor who literally demolished him in 3 or 5 years back um, in New Zealand. So I just want Shivam Dube to as a batsman. And in my 11, in my ideal 11, Shivam Dube will be there as a batter, as a pure batter in the middle order. He'll bat at 5 for my team. He will start in the very first match in the 11. So that's my opinion. He should start. Um, yeah, I mean, and he can never really replace Hardik Pandya. So yeah, that's
All right. And now finally coming to the bowling lineup, you introduced the topic in the beginning. Mohammad Siraj, I too felt that it wasn't needed because even though he was spectacular in the ODI World Cup, in IPL he hasn't been, or even before the IPL, he hasn't risen up as much as a T20 bowler as he has as an ODI bowler or a Test bowler. Now, why is it, first of all, that he hasn't been able to do that? And also, like you said, like why he shouldn't have been in the squad?
I mean, it has a lot to do with the home ground of RCB as well. It's not really easy to bowl in Chinnaswamy, and when you have probably what 7 matches in a season in Chinnaswamy as a bowler, then that's really a nightmare for you. So that also plays a very big part in the way we look Siraj as a T20 bowler. But at the same time, in spite of saying all this, I still don't think he is ready as a bowler in the shortest format because you need to develop those cutters at will. You should be able to very comfortably execute it. I don't see Siraj executing it. I don't think he even bowls a slower delivery. So that is one thing. And it's not as if he is so accurate with his Yorkers. Yes, on a particular day when he gets the Yorkers right, it really looks very good. But it's not as if he's going to nail the Yorkers every time he is going to bowl, or it's not as if more often than not he is going to execute it perfectly. That's not the case with Siraj. And also he hasn't really found what's the ideal line and length in the shortest format yet. What is his strength in the shortest format? from whatever I observed, he still doesn't know his own strengths and weaknesses in the shortest format. All these reasons contribute for Siraj not being as good as what he is in the ODIs. Or I would say even in ODIs there are certain flaws, but he's still able to manage it because it's not as if batters are going after him from the ball one. In Test, he is really good because he knows his strengths and weaknesses. He swings the ball on both ways, so he bowls it on the fuller length, which you can't really rely on doing in the with the white ball in the shortest format or in the ODI format. So in the shortest format, the scope is even more less than it is in the ODI format. So these are the reasons, and I'm very, very disappointed to see Siraj in the squad because there are so many other options who really deserve to be in there. You should have selected Natraj and Sandeep Sharma. Sandeep Sharma is the most underrated. I mean, look at the figures of his and look at the stats. You can literally see you'll run out of answers on why he hasn't represented India for so many years. He's literally like what Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He can also swing the ball both ways. He has a very good in swinger, and if I remember correctly, whenever he has bowled to Virat Kohli, he has troubled him. So, and it's not really easy to trouble a batsman, particularly that too with the stature of Virat Kohli and making him look like when you bowl to him. And in this season, particularly, Rajasthan Royals have often given the tough overs for Sandeep Sharma. He has bowled at that. Earlier, what used to be is the Sandeep Sharma used to bowl 3 overs with the new ball, and then somewhere in the middle he'll bowl one, or rarely he used to bowl at the death. Now he's bowling at the death, and huge credit also goes to Rajasthan Royals because I think they must have communicated him that they'll use him in the death overs and in the toughest overs. So it was necessary for him to develop variations in his bowling. So it's not just about swing for Sandeep Sharma anymore in the shortest format. He has the knuckleball, he has the cutters, and it's not as if a batter is going to pick his cutters right away. He is going to make the batter struggle, and also the fact that he hasn't represented India in the international circuit so much, teams won't have very much a great idea on how to play him. So use all these things to your advantage. Why expose Siraj, someone like Siraj, whom the players have faced more of so much in the test format in the ODIs, and now you are also putting him in the T20. It's literally unnecessary, and I think Siraj himself wouldn't be sure that he deserves to be in the T20 World Cup squad because that's how bad his performances have been. He doesn't have that much control either in the shortest format. And on the other hand, you have competitors like T. Natarajan and Sandeep Sharma. I would have loved to see at least one of them in the squad, and especially Sandeep Sharma. T. Natarajan obviously is having a very good season, is nailing those Yorkers in the death overs, but personally, I would have liked Sandeep Sharma because he has impressed me so much. It's just that I don't know whether it's the name, the brand image, or whatever that plays a role in the selection. But this literally means, I mean, it's a no-brainer to select Sandeep Sharma because he had to be there in the bus, but then it's very disappointing. And this mistake is the most disappointing selection of the squad when it comes to squad selection. That's the most disappointing for me because I clearly expected at least one out of Sandeep Sharma and Natarajan, and especially Sandeep Sharma. But then to see none of them in the squad, that's very, very disappointing. And there were certain expert opinions that came out when they said that Siraj, everyone had Siraj in their team as if it's a given that Siraj is going to make it to the T20 World Cup squad. I was surprised, and then to see the squad announcement and see Siraj's name in that, it literally baffles me and also makes me wonder whether these things are literally being spoken in a circuit and then being made to spread and to convince fans that actually Siraj really deserves to be in that World Cup squad. So I have all these doubts too, but then literally Siraj doesn't deserve to be in this squad. Yeah.
So, my role is to counter you and extract some answers from you. So, for example, we selected Varun Chakravarti a few years back, and there could be an argument that names like Siraj or Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, they can come good uh, in the World Cup and in the knockout games rather than someone like a Sandeep Sharma who hasn't played for India for a long while. So why not give them a chance in this World Cup? And obviously, anyways, they might move on before the next World Cup itself. So is there any case to be made in terms of whether Siraj would perform? First of all, maybe he won't be in the 11 itself. But is there any case as in terms of what his name is, what he did in the ODI World Cup, with and maybe he can come good in the T20 World Cup.
No, no, no. I don't think, and I also don't think that Siraj will even be in the 11.
From what I guess, Siraj won't be in the 11. It's more like a backup. But then still, even as a backup, I would have liked some other pacer rather than Siraj himself. So no, I mean, I just couldn't see even a single reason where I can be convinced that Siraj is good enough to be in the squad, because his IPL performances have been poor, and it's not as if he has done superbly in whatever chances he got to play for India in the shortest format. And even in the ODI World Cup, I don't think he was superb and all. He was just good. And against Sri Lanka, he is good. That's it. It's not as if he really turned hits with his bowling in the ODI World Cup as well. It was all Bumrah, and Bumrah still is in exceptional form. And even I'm very hesitant on Arshdeep Singh too. It's not like he's also looking good. He's been very poor in this season. So, but then still, as I told earlier, at least with the reputation, and he has played for India previously. He was there as a main bowler, the new ball bowler in the previous World Cup for the Indian team. So Arshdeep Singh, having some faith in him is fine. But then to have Siraj, no, I don't see any sense in including. Yeah.
My only problem with Arshdeep Singh is that it's so obvious to see him ball full tosses when he's under pressure. He has done well a lot of times in the at the depth, obviously, but and when you see a batter coming at him and hitting him for a six, hitting him for a boundary, you know that the third or the fourth delivery is like wayward, and it just he balls the full tosses. Sometimes they go for a run or two if he's lucky, otherwise it is smashed. And for example, like Jasprit Bumrah, and we can't expect everyone to be like him, of course he's a world class player, but you see him kind of stick to the line or change something, but not too much or not take too much pressure. Even if he smashed for 20 runs the previous over, he'll do something that will negate that advantage the batter has against him. But I haven't seen Arshdeep Singh do that. So as you said, but I think that maybe he has an advantage there, like you said, his reputation. He's a left arm pacer as well, and obviously produces some kind of swing, so he might be useful in the group stages, at least who we have, I think Canada, USA, Pakistan, and after that but yeah, again, like you said, some of the names have missed out. Let's see what happens. Very lastly, I just had few questions. How disappointing it is for Shubman Gill, for him to miss out, because obviously he was looked like, people call him that nickname of the Prince, uh, following up after Virat Kohli, and it just shows how Virat Kohli is one of the best there is, because he's been such a long time playing in all the three formats. It's not easy to play all the three formats and change the way you play them. Shubman Gill misses out, and someone who was like a very much a guarantee, maybe 6 7 months ago, when we were not talking about the T20 World Cup, but we were continuously selecting him for the bilateral series, and using Jaiswal, sometimes Gaikwad, to see who might pair up with him. But then he misses out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really so disappointing to see Shubman Gill missing out, because
For us,
I
but
don't think
like
he
for
was
his
ever in touch.
trajectory, for a player, for a young player
I
who we
don't
all
think I
thought.
don't think
Hmm.
even him he must have known that he's not really in the prioritized list even before the squad selection, because Jaiswal, especially with his approach, more than his consistency or anything, with his approach, clearly was going to be prioritized, and he was prioritized, so that's good. And what has happened is that Kohli opening for Royal Challengers Bangalore and doing well for them in the past 2 seasons have literally given selectors that room where even if their first choice opener gets injured, they still have Kohli to open, and then the whole batting lineup, they still have certain batters in the squad which can still give a balanced batting lineup. So they aren't really worried about the backup opener. So hence he is not in the squad, and that's what probably if Kohli wasn't an opener. If Kohli would have been only batted at three, then there would have been a backup opener in the squad. But that's not really the case now, and hence I don't think. I mean, I think even in this season, he gave probably an interview or something saying that when asked about his approach, whether with this approach he will be selected for the Indian team or not, Shubman Gill gave a very mature reply saying that his job is to do what is necessary for Gujarat Titans to win. It would be unfair for him to be a captain of a franchise and then to think about his spot in the Indian team and play according to that. It was a very matured answer. So whatever he has done for the Indian team, he has done it. And whether to select him based on those performances or not is in selector's hand. But his job is to do what is required for Gujarat Titans to win in this season. And since they don't have that much of a deep batting lineup who are reliable batters, um, he has chosen to be a little conservative, and that is fine, I guess. So I don't think he was also personally really expecting. The most disappointed person would have been Rinku Singh more than anyone. So yeah, I think Gill at the corner of his mind, with his experience and knowledge, he would have known by himself that he won't be selected in the squad.
And now, from the last question from my end, uh, is Virat Kohli's place guaranteed, and do you see him opening as well alongside Rohit Sharma, and or maybe batting one down for India?
No, I mean, yeah, his place is guaranteed. That's for sure. You can't bench Virat Kohli. And I mean, benching is literally like then I wouldn't even back us to win against Pakistan in that match if you're gonna bench Virat Kohli and play Rohit Sharma. So that's literally I would find it very stupid from the management to do such thing. And what I would expect is that I would want Virat Kohli to open, and I'll just tell you my ideal 11 here. So Virat Kohli opening with Rohit Sharma. These are two are my openers. Samson at 3, and then Sky at 4. I would want Dubey at 5, but if they are literally adamant on playing punt, then play punt at 5. Then at 6, I want Hardik, Jadeja at 7, Akshar at 8, 9 Kuldeep, 10 is Steve Singh, 11 is Bumrah. So I want this 11, just the toss up between Dubey and Pant. But in my preference, I would any day go for Dubey rather than Pant. But once again, we know our management and the Indian team in the past, so just that liberty for them to choose whomever between the Pant and Dubey. And why Akshar and Jadeja? Probably a lot of them would argue, how can both be in the same team? They are similar type of bowlers. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. When you have Hardik, you don't want to go with another specialist seamer or a specialist bowler and go in with four tailenders. We know our bowlers can't bat, and we don't have Deepak Chara, Shardul Thakur because their bowling is not good. So we don't have them. So literally, our bowlers can't bat, and we can't go in with just 7 batters and expect our batters to go with an aggressive approach. That's not at all possible. It's many might say that you can't bowl Akshar and Jadeja, and it's fine because we have seen that Jadeja and Akshar bowl very well to left-handers also. And even if one is going for runs, you can still bowl another. It's definitely there is no way that both are going to have a very bad day. Uh, in the same match. That's not going to happen. And even if they are going to give that 5 to 10 runs extra, you can't really guarantee that another bowler whom whether it's Chahal or Siraj. Probably Chahal might be a good option rather than Siraj, but if you are definitely going to play Siraj and if you're going to play three seamers, then it's a really bad choice. And I would rather bowl Akshar and Jadeja to left-handers rather than having Siraj as another bowler who doesn't give me batting. So that is fine. Just we should literally take away this similar sort of players to avoid both Jadeja and Akshar in the team. They should both fit into the team. And if they both fit in the team, just imagine the batting lineup we have. Akshar has been really, really good with the bat. He has been really good with the ball too. And we can literally play fearless cricket. There can be nothing which can stop us. And I would say with this team, we can really win the World Cup also because there is that balance. There can be that aggression. Each and every player is experienced. There are impactful players at the same time. There are players who can understand the situation and play, and we can be very flexible with the batting lineup too. So I want Akshay and Jadeja to be in the 11 to and play together, but then let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. I think the lineup you suggested kind of makes sense. The last point that it is also a flexible lineup because Hardik Pandya can also come up or Jadeja, Akshar Patel can bat up.
Mm,
If we want Surya Kumar
mm.
Yadav can come later on as well because they all have experience in playing in those positions. But also, yeah, we talk about the form and everything, but to be honest, if you have Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, one of the best batters in the world, coming and opening, obviously there is going to be some pressure on other teams as well because they want their wicket.
Exactly, yeah.
And even if they get those wicket, you still have reliable players in Samson, in Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, and Shivam Dube will have the license. I don't think there's going to be any expectation on him to, perform good and score more runs. It's just going to go out there, play yourself. And I think with that freedom, because CSK has given him that freedom, he's this way, right? In the last two seasons, because he's very bad for Mumbai in Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. He is not that good. He doesn't even play sometimes. But in CSK, because he's given that freedom, I think India will also give him, because he's surrounded by all these players, and that can obviously come very good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, any last point for you? I think I'm done with the questions. So, anything you want to say?
No, nothing. I think we have covered really everything.
All right. So thank you, Gokul, for joining us in the show. I think we can do another one when the World Cup approaches. We can talk about the combinations, and during the World Cup as well, we can definitely talk about what went wrong, what is going right. We have India, Pakistan as always. I think it's going to be a feature in every World Cup. I don't think Pakistan is ever going to
Yeah.
leave us in a group stage match. They are going to somehow place us together. But yeah, thank you so much for the episode. Hope you enjoyed it as well, and we'll meet next time.